You're probably staring at a stack of pipe and tank sections, wondering whether you should throw another piece of equipment at the job or keep using the makeshift rollers you've been dragging around. The fear of spending a few $100s on a device that sits idle in the shop is real, especially when you've seen a lot of great deals turn out to be more trouble than they're worth. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I want to do is walk through the real-world situation you'll face with a welding positioner like the HayWHNKN tank turning rolls, and help you decide if that $300-ish price tag actually solves a problem you have, or if you'd be better off tweaking your current setup. First, let's picture a typical small to mid-size fabrication shop that does a mix of pipe spools and large vertical tanks. The welders need to rotate a piece that can be anywhere from 2 inches up to almost 4 feet in diameter, and the weight can easily exceed a ton. Without a proper turner, they end up using chain hoists, makeshift jigs, or even just brute force manual rotation, which slows production and adds fatigue. That's where a dedicated rotary welding positioner comes in. It's supposed to give you smooth, controlled turning so the welder can stay in one comfortable spot while the workpiece does the moving. The HayWHNKN unit is built around a heavy-duty frame that claims a 6,600-pound capacity, and it does have a solid steel chassis that feels like it could take a hit. The adjustable rollers span a pipe diameter range from 2 inches to 47.2 inches, and you can switch the roller width in under a minute thanks to the quick adjust mechanism. In practice, that means if you finish a 12-inch pipe job and the next order is a 30-inch tank ring, you won't need to dismantle the whole rig. You just loosen a few bolts, slide the rollers out, and pop the larger ones in. I've seen shops that spend an entire afternoon reconfiguring their turners, so that speed of adjustment is a genuine time saver. The control handle is another point that separates this model from the static roller rack you might have cobbled together. The handheld box lets you set the rotation speed and direction on the fly. When you're doing a tight route pass on a pipe, you can slow the turn to a crawl, then crank it up for a filler pass without having to step back and reposition the whole piece. That kind of on-the-spot flexibility is what welders appreciate because it reduces the number of resets and keeps the heat input consistent. Now, who actually benefits from this setup? If you're running a shop that regularly welds tanks, large diameter pipe spools, or heavy cylindrical structures, especially if the pieces are over a ton, the HayWHNKN positioner starts to pay for itself after a handful of jobs. The ability to rotate a 4,500-pound tank in a controlled manner means you can finish a project in days instead of weeks, and the reduced manual labor cuts down on worker fatigue and injury risk. It also shines in repair work where the component can't be moved to a fixed turntable. You can bring the turner to the job site, hook it up, and get the piece turning without having to dismantle surrounding structures. On the flip side, if your business is mostly low volume, small diameter pipe welding, say under 8 inches, and the weights stay below a few £100s, you'll probably find the HayWHNKN overkill. The unit's footprint is about the size of a small workbench, and while it is portable in the sense that you can roll it on its own wheels, you still need a fairly level, reinforced floor to handle the load. A shop that only occasionally does a 40-inch tank might be better off renting a positioner for those rare jobs rather than committing to a permanent purchase. Let's talk about the practical strengths that matter after the box is unboxed. The high-friction PU rollers give you reliable grip, even on polished steel surfaces, so the piece won't slip when you're applying a high-torque setting. The drive chain is enclosed and lubricated, which reduces the need for daily maintenance. You'll check it weekly, but you won't be greasing it every shift. The adjustable roller width means you can handle both thin-walled pipe and thick-walled tank sections without worrying about the rollers digging into the material. There are a few weaknesses to keep in mind. The control box, while convenient, relies on a wired connection to the motor. In a cramped shop where power outlets are scarce, you might need an extension cord or a dedicated circuit, adding a bit of extra wiring work. The motor itself is a standard 220V unit, so you'll need a 3-phase supply if your shop only has single-phase power, otherwise you'll have to install a phase converter, which is another cost you didn't anticipate. Also, because the rollers are designed for a wide diameter range, they're not as tightly fitted on the smallest pipes as a purpose-built small diameter turner would be, meaning you might see a